Okay, so let's test this. Write down the question. We'll see how you do it. There are two groups of consumers, right? The first group of consumer that we have, that is basically alpha proportion of total demand. And second group is 1 minus alpha. And the absolute value of elasticity is given by EI. Right? Not show that. Tell me which of the following is correct formula for price elasticity for all consumers. A, alpha E1 minus E2 plus E2. B, alpha E1 plus 1 minus alpha E2. C, alpha E1 plus alpha E2. D, 1 minus alpha E1 plus alpha E2. Give this question. Very simple question, very similar to what I have given you in a DBP of mine. Okay. B, others. Okay. Did you even solve it? Don't just write B randomly. Solve it. So you're given elasticity of the first is E1 and elasticity of second is E2, which means you are given that how demand of group 1 changes when price changes. Into price by demand of group 1 is E1. How demand of group 2 changes when price changes. Into price by D2 is E2. And if total demand is D, if I represent total demand by D, then you are given D1 is alpha times D. And you are given D2 is 1 minus alpha times D. Alpha proportion is D. Alpha proportion is consumer 1 and 1 minus alpha is consumer 2. So here D1 can be replaced with alpha D and D2 can be replaced with 1 minus alpha D. So what will I get here? So what will I get here? Del D1 by del P into P by alpha D is E1. So I'll get del D by D1 by del P will be E1 into alpha into d by p. Similarly, d2 is 1 minus alpha d. So I'll get del d2 by del p into p by 1 minus alpha d is e2. So I will go ahead and I will get del d2 by del p is 1 minus alpha d e2 by p. Right? Now I have to solve for both consumers together. I don't know how you guys did it in such. I mean, you took seconds to answer. I don't know how. Now I have to find the elasticity for both groups together. Right? So demand will be D1 plus D2, total demand. Question is asking how this changes as P changes first. So this will be how D1 changes as P changes plus how D2 changes as P changes. So how D1 changes as P changes, I have solved that number here. E1 alpha D by P. And the second one I have solved here. 1 minus alpha D E2 by P. Right? So if I go ahead and if I try to solve this now, this is what my del D by del P is. Now I have to find the total elasticity. Which of the following is price elasticity for all consumer? So aim, price elasticity of all consumer will be how total demand changes as price changes into P by D. So I have to multiply this by P by D on both sides. So if I multiply P by D, will be P by D plus P by D. So this will be total elasticity. And here what will happen? This will cancel, 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 cancel. So I will get E1 alpha plus 1 minus alpha E2. But this is also E1 alpha plus E2 minus alpha E2. And this is also E1 minus E2 alpha plus E2. E1 minus E2 alpha plus E2, which is meaning that even this is correct. And if you would have been part of the GATE exam, all of you would have got 0. All of you. Because GATE would not have mentioned it's an Msqe question. And without even solving, without even thinking that A and B are the same thing, which I desperately gave you here, you would have just marked B without solving. So please don't be in a hurry. There is no competition here. We have to give the right answer. A and B are equivalent, right? So both are correct. This is also correct. And in exam, sometimes this may not be even part of the option. They may have given you 1 minus alpha, E1 minus E2 plus E2. So please solve. Okay, fine. So with this, we have covered international economics. I'm going to upload some more portions of international as part of the recordings. I hope what's the approach of doing macro? You not only do the live lectures, but you also do whatever I have posted in advanced section. Not even a single lecture. Don't ask me, ma'am, is this optional? Should this be done? If it is optional, I will mention optional. Otherwise, each and everything, literally everything from what I've posted in the advanced section need to be done. Right? So you sit down with advanced macroeconomics and you start from lecture 1. Whatever is done in live, whatever is done in recorded, you do everything. As long as it is part of the advanced video lectures. Wherever I have posted a note, do this from basic, do this from intermediate, you do those lectures. irrespective of which background you come from, whether you have done economic honors, whether you have done maths honors, you do everything in advanced macro thoroughly. Okay? Okay. Thank you. By solving. That's where now you have to practice the mock exams. You have to practice questions. It will not be given. It can only be done with practice, right? You have to thoroughly examine each option. No, I don't think so. I think it begins from Wednesday. Solution ones. Okay. Okay. So now I will go ahead and I will tell you guys whenever I take a marathon, which topic we begin in the marathon, how we go about it. You give me a week's time. In the meanwhile, you also go ahead and you start doing macroeconomics for the full syllabus macro exam. I will come with a timetable when where I can take a marathon class and how we will be approaching the exam now. Okay. Okay. Can I move on? Then I can explain BP curve shift. Is it done? Okay. Okay. So see, the BP curve does not shift under the fixed exchange rate. It only shifts under the flexible exchange rate. Okay. Now, let's say this is my BP curve, right? I've drawn it in the interest rate output space. Okay. Let's say that there is increase in the exchange rate due to some reason, which means that there is depreciation of my currency. When there is depreciation of the currency, I know exports will increase, import will decrease, current account balance will improve, right? So current account deficit will decrease, balance will improve. Now, depreciation of currency, right? So let's say I'm here at point A, right? And I want to understand what is happening to the economy after the depreciation of currency takes place. If my current account balance improves, then I know BOP says that capital account plus current account should be 0. Right? When this has improved, it means this has become positive. So this must become negative for this to be 0. If this has to become negative, if my capital account has to become negative, it means that there has to be outflow of the currency. If there has to be outflow of the currency, it means that my interest rate must decrease. So whichever point I am in, my interest rate must decrease. My BP will shift downwards for my balance of payment to maintain its balance. Right? So when there is depreciation of currency, flexible exchange rate, it is followed by downward shift of the BP curve. Okay. It cannot shift. BP horizontal cannot shift because you have fixed the exchange rate, interest rate, no? I is always equal to IF. Correct. That's right. Then it can never shift. Okay.